Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy, and we are here for the week of Transformers news. Because last week we obviously were covering toys. What were we covering last week? We were covering Fall of Cybertron. Oh yeah, that's right. And now we've got TFcon that's happened this week, and a few other little bits. Not huge ones, so unsurprisingly, probably be a reasonably quick show, as is the way of things. Because until there's a big toy show, not really a huge amount to talk about, but there are little bits to get started and rolling. So hope everybody out there is having a good day or evening and whatever there might be. I did actually check this week, and I went, oh, I think I've said on previous shows, there's a link below in the description of the YouTube video, and if you wanted to donate to the show, you were more than welcome to. There wasn't a link there. There is now, so if you wish to donate to the show, there's a link there. You can donate to the show, and it would be much appreciated, but it's not a compulsory thing or anything like that. I went, I can't really tell people to help out the show and then not actually have a link down there in the bottom. That didn't make sense, and it did confuse me because I was like, I'm sure I had one. But clearly I'm just stupid. Never mind. We're going to start off this week's show with, as usual, high-end tat. As you could tell from the image or the thumbnail that I made for the show, we've got the Earthspark Transformers head torch and the Transformers G1 projection light by Paladin. Paladin. So, Transformers Earthspark is it up in the air at the moment? I think it's up in the air because we had its quote-unquote series finale with that movie, which was just as far as I could tell, like 2 episodes like stitched together. So I can't remember. That's how far we're to watch the episode, that's for sure. I think that was, I don't know whether it is 100% confirmed that was the last of Earthspark, but I'm reasonably sure it is. So it feels odd to be bringing out Earthspark products in 2026, but here we go. For this is a mold. This head torch is molded after Bumblebee from Earthspark series. It's basically just his head. It's going to be priced at $20. Let's round up by 1 cent just to throw it in the bag there. And it's planned for a release in May. It is literally just a headlamp, so it's a torch that you strap to your forehead. When you turn it on, B's eyes glow blue, and then the black bit in the center of his forehead, the forehead crest, that is the actual light source. So that's the torch part of it. Looks impressive on the image, on the promo image, and then when you see the in-hand image, it obviously doesn't look quite as good. I'm not sure how powerful the actual beam of light is, but the light is kind of oozing through the yellow bee plastic a little bit. So bee looks a little bit on the scary side, I will say. Makes official sounds, apparently. I'm sure it says in the description what that means, so we'll have a look at that. It's 8.6 centimeters or 3.3 inches wide. I imagine that's the torch rather than the headband. But I don't know people's head sizes, so I could be wrong there. Let's read the description. Okay, Transformers Head Torch. The Transformers Head Torch lets you light up your adventures with the help of Bumblebee, measuring approximately 3 to 4 inches. 3 and 3.75 inches, or 8.6 centimeters wide. This LED torch features an adjustable headband. So it was for the actual Bumblebee face. Hands-free use and is shaped like the beloved Autobot hero, complete with the official transforming sound effect. Now, it doesn't say when the feature kicks in, but apparently you need 3 AAA batteries, which are not included, to light up this bad boy. It's ideal for playtime, whatever that means specifically, outdoors activities, or adding a fun collectible to your Transformers display. That might be a bit debatable, but fair enough. The Bumblebee head torch is a must-have. Again, that would be a bit debatable for fans of all ages. Are you tempted by a head torch, chat? I mean, I'm not. This definitely goes into the Transformers shaving kit from animated years, kind of tat, but yeah, this works. It has a function, I suppose. Yeah, it doesn't say when the transforming sound effect kicks in. And when it said sounds, I thought there was going to be more than just the transformation sound. Maybe B would have say, I don't know, his iconic catchphrase from Earthspark, which obviously I don't know what that is. We could do it, guys. Believe in the heart of the cards. We're family. Something like that. So there's also the Transformers projection light. Projection light, yes, that's right. The Transformers Paladone product office, all right. Description: the projection light. Transformers projection light brings the action-packed world of Transformers and Decepticons into your room, standing approximately 4 to 3/4 inches, 12 centimeters. This 3-in-1 nightlight features 2 interchangeable projection scenes, casting a dynamic image across walls, ceiling to recreate your favorite Bataroos. So this is powered by a USB cable. The cable is included, a yippee. Or 3 AAA batteries, which are not included. It also includes in-world sounds to emphasize the immersive experience. I'm hoping when we look at the images, it expands on that. The Transformers projection light is a must-have item. Blah, blah, blah. All adults want this thing. Let's have a look at it. So, includes 4 projection sheets, mood light function, rotates, projects. It says music. Does it say what music? So one of the images is Autobot insignias in different colors from blue, red, and yellow. Okay. I wouldn't say that's brings you into the immersive world of Transformers, but okie dokie. There's also Decepticon one, which seems to have less colors from a blue and a purple choice. And those are the only ones it shows. So that's not very interesting. And again, it doesn't say what the music is. It's just, again, not very inspiring, I would say. Includes 4 projection sheets. Maybe it's just like a dupes. So maybe you get 2 Autobot ones and 2 Decepticon ones. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe one of it's because there seems to be like a cylinder-shaped thing to go on this projection light thingy, and then there's more of a dome one. Maybe there's 2 of each, and one's for the dome, and then the other's for the cylinder, I guess. So I would have thought a better way to do this would be to have like a projection of maybe space, and you have like a big part of it which is Cybertron. So you have Cybertron slowly moving around your room. Maybe you have Unicron's head, like his decapitated head, or if you want to have like just Unicron, like it's coming towards Cybertron, so you just have it as an image off in the distance. That could have worked. You could have had the Autobot shuttles. If we're going with G1, you could do stuff like that. It does say Earthspark, so I'm sure within Earthspark there's an equivalent of these things. Obviously, there's Cybertron. I don't know if there's an equivalent gigantic space thing. But you could probably do something a little bit like that, I would hope. For a second image, Earthspark. Okay, you could set it on Earth, right? So you have an Earth scene with the Maltos, even though I don't give a crap about them, and then the Autobots, and maybe another part which is dedicated to the villains that spins around the room. I think that would be a bit more immersive for a light projection thing for a kid. I think the space one would be better because it would be maybe less image intensive. And I imagine if this is a light, this might it says mood light function, whatever mood light, the distinction between mood light function and the other function is. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a light expert. But again, if this is something that used to kind of help your kid not be scared of the dark and help put them to sleep, you don't want it with too active images. So again, like the Cybertron and floating around space, I think that'd be quite good. Again, a bit more interesting than Autobot insignias and Decepticon insignias. To me, that seems quite half-assed and lazy. And if you want to go and do something like this, at least try and make it a little interesting, a little bit of design thought behind this rather than just pooping it out, What do I know? So that's one thing. Well, there's the Bumblebee headlamp as well, and that's fine. You know, that's a dumb thing that I would probably want as a kid. The practical functions of it are probably pretty low, but it's fine. It's all right. I'm surprised they don't at least have an Optimus Prime one as well, to be honest, because, you know, seems like a thing you do. Maybe you could have made it so that you had interchangeable heads, so you could pull off B's face and replace it with Optimus Prime's head. Maybe you get Megatron's head in there, so you could just swap around between the different heads. That could have been quite nice, I suppose. But yeah, okay. This is Tat, the usual Transformers Tat. So next up we have third-party Tat, I suppose you could say, as DNA Designs do the DK82 Beast Lord upgrade. So this is an upgrade kit for Onyx Prime, everybody's favorite chicken dragon dude. It has a new beast head, as if I remember. Well, yeah, the original head was a bit on the wonky side. I wasn't a big fan of how that dragon head looks, so there's a new one of those. Additional parts for the main body. I'm sure we'll find out what that is when we look into it. And a tail blade extension part. Ooh! All parts can be integrated with figures in both mode, and it's apparently coming out in July, if I could read, of this year. So, okay, oh, well, that's a new head. Okay, so yeah, it's a relatively small set. I know we've got like new bits for the weapons. I don't know what this weird shovel thing looks like, but okay, we'll figure that out. Okay, where's that piece? The shovel-looking piece. It's on the front of the design. I will say the upgraded head to the, what would you call that? Halberd, a trident, a spear. The new head for it looks a lot more like a spear, like it looks like a threatening weapon. And there's a bit that you add to the bottom of it, and that looks a bit nicer. Not really worth the price, I would say, so far. The tail looks like a tail instead of, obviously, the kind of wimpy half-arsed excuse that you had on the original design. And there you can see the dragon head is definitely better. I guess the main selling point is the dragon head, right? I still can't see that other piece, though. Can you see it, chat? We're playing Dora the Explorer. Can you see where the thing is? I can't. What's that even for? I don't know. Oh, hang on. That's what it is. Okay, so first of all, the blade of the trident thing looks like it can open up as well. I'm not sure why you'd have it opened up, but it can open up. So instead of it being standard trident pointy thing, it just kind of splays open, kind of like a bow, I suppose. And it looks like the extra pointy bit is to add a point to the tail part of the bow. I wouldn't say it's that essential, but fair enough. I definitely think the new dragon head looks like a dragon, though, and looks a lot more interesting visually. How's it looking? I wish they'd done something with the hands, though, because that was one of my main issues with the quote unquote dragon mode for this thing. And it's the fact that, for those not aware, the robot mode's hands just kind of you straighten the fingers out, and it's like, there you go. Those are his front legs, and they still just look like hands. They're very unconvincing as hands. So I wish they'd given you something else, maybe a system that let you like pull off the hands and replace them with more dragon feet kind of things. Something. Clearly, this is a small end kit, so it's nothing to be too invested in, I suppose. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I like I say, I do like the dragon head more. I still think this is a fairly flawed looking figure visually in both of his alt modes. It looks reasonably okay in his robot mode. Reasonably okay. Still not a big fan of the mostly brown color scheme, but yeah, fair enough. So if you did want to upgrade your Onyx Prime, this is a way to do it, I suppose. If you really thought his weapon, because this is really one of two things. Do you want a new dragon head, or can you live with the current dragon head? Okay. And then, do you think his spear/arrow is a bit wimpy and shit? And if you think, yes, it is a bit wimpy and shit, then again, this upgrade kit seems to be like something that might interest you. So fair enough. Okay. It doesn't fix a lot of the issues that you might otherwise have with the figure, though. So something to consider. But DNA Designs have also done an upgrade kit for the DK-84 1-star. I mean, it's an S, but you know what I mean. So this is for Transformers 1 Starscream. Its release date is going to be July, sometime in July. Pre-order date is going to be 26th of March, so it's coming up relatively soon, not too far from release. So what do you get with this kit for Transformers 1 Starscream? You get new head sculpt, good, because the original head sculpt was pretty bad. Had really weird lips on the original figure. A newly designed head sculpt that gives the character a sharper expression and stronger presence. That's their descriptions. New arms, improved proportions and sculpted detail to better match the original design. A new weapon, a newly designed signature weapon that enhances the character's battle style and display presence. All right, okay. Gap fillers, designed to... If you didn't know what a gap filler was, it's designed to fill visible gaps and improve overall appearance. If you didn't know what a gap filler was, I'm glad they put the description in there for you. So these cover the thruster areas, the inner thighs, and the shoulder areas. Hello, XL Hedge. XL Hedge says, how's it hanging, Andy? Not too bad. I seem to be very tired at the moment. I say that like I'm surprised, but I seem to be in the jam of sleeping for 2 hours, then waking up, and then going, well, I need to try and go back to sleep. And usually I have a pretty intense dream for that well, obviously not consistent 2-hour period, but clearly I get into REM sleep and then wake up, and that's been happening for the past few days, so that's not been fun. Let's have a look at the kit, though, something a bit more fun. Okay, do we have a side-by-side? The head sculpt is definitely nicer. I'm still confused why the head sculpt on Transformers TF Prime 1 or TF1. Oh, I'm stupid. TF1. Why Starscream's face was painted like a lavenderish color, but it was. It looks fine on the robot itself. It just looks a bit weird when you see it on its own. But yeah, the head definitely does look better. The thigh filler part, it doesn't fully fill in the thigh because at the joint between the thigh and the hip, there's a big old double mushroom peg. I kind of wish there was a part to close up the double mushroom peg. It would make the joint tighter as well, more secure. So that would have been nice, but that's clearly not being included. What have they done to the arms? Because you do get new arm parts. I'm trying to see what the difference is. It looks like the actual elbow joint is a little longer. The fingers are painted or molded in the gray plastic or the black plastic of the figure, while having the blue on the back of the hand. So again, that's more accurate than just a solid blue of the hand of the original figure. Otherwise, it doesn't look like there was much difference with the hand there, as far as I can tell. The gun's a big improvement. The gun actually looks like the gun he uses in the movie versus whatever the hell their attempt was before, which I'm not too sure about. What are these bits? What were the other bits? That was the new weapon, new arm design, which we talked about. Inner thigh, we've looked at. Thruster area. So let's see. What's the bit on the... I guess thruster would be on the back somewhere. I can't see anything on the back. Oh, okay. There's some extra bits. So, if you've got the figure on the back of his heel spurs, apparently they're just hollow, which I didn't know. So you've got parts to fill those in. And I'm guessing these are the thrusters because it looks like kind of they've shunted thruster detail in there. So, okay, that's quite nice. Not crazy. Maybe it has a bit more of an oomph in the jet mode. And what was the shoulder area? Okay. Looking at shoulders. Can't see what they've done to the shoulders. It does attest it has done something. Can't tell what. Wow, his I didn't realize how bad his alt mode was, at least at the back. It's really bad, actually. Oh boy. Upgraded version. Oh, so it looks like... What is that? Oh, so right, okay. The arms also seem to have like an inwards wrist joint, which means that in vehicle mode, he's able to like bend his wrist upwards and make the jet mode less obvious. Like, oh yeah, there are his hands, right at the back of his jet. It doesn't completely like hide it. It tidies it up a bit. It's still kind of messy, I'd say, but it helps a little bit at the very least. That's something. The head, I'd say if you want this kit, the reason to get this is the head, because the head, like, look at the original. If you're watching the stream, look at the original head. Look at the upgraded head. The upgraded head looks like the character. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what Hasbro was doing with the original version of the figure. It was a fucking mess. It really was. Ah, okay. I see the shoulder parts. The shoulder fill-in parts are the red bits that go behind his head. It's them. You get some black pieces to fill in the gap there. It seems that's fine. So this seems like an okay improvement. Definitely fixes the arms. Definitely fixed the head. Definitely has a way better weapon. Obviously now he has two weapons. He has the big, like, nice looking weapon, and then he has his shitty standard weapon. So that does look nicer. So I'd say this is a bit more of an improvement compared to like Onyx Prime. Onyx Primes, as I mentioned, was just that's fine. This one seems like a bigger visual kind of tidying up upgrade to a character that feels like he got kicked in the dick, at least by Hasbro in terms of design. I still think the figure suffers from, clearly looking at these images, his jet mode is just kind of crap. Nothing really touched the way he's a big fat jet. A little bit on the ugly side. But if you wanted a nicer robot mode, this looks like it tidies up the robot quite nicely. So between the two of them, I'd definitely say the Starscream one's better, at least out of these two. New Age, showing off some more stuff. I can't remember if I've talked about this. I don't know. Have I talked about the New Age toys H75 Wyatt, which is Rekgar? I don't remember. When did this happen? 2nd of March. Let's check the calendar. No, I couldn't have talked about it because this came out last week. So maybe I looked at the news story and went, I need to talk about this on the show. Yes. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the article. It says, this is a very nice rendition of Rekgar for the legacy scale market, the competitive legacy scale market. He will include a shield cover, a gun, and a battle axe. The standard Rekgar accoutrement, if you would. So it's got his U1 gun, his stupid, crappy helicopter axe, and then his shield. I'd say generally it looks pretty good. The bite mode looks great. I think there's something slightly off about the face. And I think it's actually the proportions of the face. The face feels like too wide. The face is too wide in his little like helmet, let's call it like that. So it feels like it takes up too much of the helmet space. And then the cheeks look like the design. Again, this is just from these images. The cheeks look very, very, very large, and then the eyes are quite small at the same time. So I think the face sculpt is just a little off, which is kind of surprising because I think generally New Age toys have been pretty good about getting the faces to look pretty solid, and this seems just, like I say, just not bad, just slightly off to the point where I look at it and I go, it feels and looks a bit third party-ish, you know, like not as good as it could be. And I guess neither here nor there. Like I say, I think the bike mode looks really good. It looks like Rekgar's bike, which is it's a weird bike mode anyway. So it's quite chunky, but that's as it should be. They've actually got. I'm guessing does his chest split apart? Yeah, I'm guessing his chest splits apart because you can see like his gun nipples on the very sides of the bike mode, and they've got the wheel in the center and I don't know, the mud cap, the mud cover that goes over the top of the wheel is in between his titties. And it seems like that looks quite smooth for the kind of transformation. And wonky image of his head. His ass looks fairly good as well, I guess. Again, as usual, pretty tidy. I'm sure he's going to be articulated reasonably well to boot. He does come with his double wheels. But no spikes on the wheels. No spikes on the wheels for obvious reasons, because people want him to be a bike for obvious reasons. Got an image of him picking up the decapitated head of Ultra Magnus and his other broken bits and being like, you're shiny as new. I think this is the version 3 Ultra Magnus as well that they've gone pictured with. So So, chat, in terms of a Rekgar figure at a legend scale, this seems fine. Like I say, the head's a bit wonky. So, what are we gonna get for redos? I think we're gonna get the standard Hasbro effect at the very least. So we're gonna get what are the names? Like is a scrap heap and the other one. The other Hasbro release. You know the ones I mean. I think we'll probably get those two minimum. I could see them doing Shattered Glass. And if they do the Shattered Glass, which is just the Insecticon color scheme, if they do the Shattered Glass version, they'd probably do the Shattered Glass versions of the other two versions of the figure, which because they'll require minor remolding. We'll probably get a toy version. That'll have some sort of chroming on him, I would guess. Maybe they'll give him his stupid toy head. Maybe. They'd need to completely have a really weird design for the head, but excuse me, maybe they'll do something like that. If he's different enough in the Marvel comic series, visually, I mean, maybe they do something like that. Will they do a just chromed version or a translucent version? Chromed, maybe. Translucent version? Meh. I don't think so. I'm trying to think if there's anything else they could do. If they wanted to be fun, it's a bit of a push. But maybe they could do animated oil slick. Like I say, a bit of a push where you go, it wouldn't really work. He's a little bit too meaty, and boxy and thick to be animated oil slick. But I think if you give him a new head, maybe you cut off the gun nipples. You give him the weird chain weapon that he had in animated. Maybe it could work. Like I say, it'd be a bit of a push, but a bike former could be a bike former. Could be a bike former. Could be a bike former. So, is there anybody else? Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else. I mean, that's like, I think we've pushed it up to like 7, and I think 7's generally what New Age Toys tends to aim for mostly when they're doing like repaints and retools of figures. They might do slightly less on the depending on the popularity of a character. For an Ultra Magnus, a Prime, or a Megatron, maybe they do a bit more. I think he is, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Next up, we have the Galaxy Toys Mini O2 figures. So these are Micromaster scaled Optimus Prime figures, and these are a multitude of variants of this figure. So this is, of course, a third-party company who seem to be just doing so far Optimus Primos in a Masterpiece scaled, sorry, not Masterpiece scaled, I can't read, Micromaster scaled series. I guess to compete against Dr. Wu, though I think it's bold to have this many variations of one figure. So, how many are there? So there's the Mini 01Z. I'll just read the initial at the end because otherwise they're all Mini 01s and then it's just a letter at the end. So the Z is Shattered Glass. The T is Toxitron. The S is Dead or Sleep Mode. Yippee. Everyone's favorite mode for Prime. W for Ultra Magnus. B for Nemesis. C for Clear. And A for Inspired by Bump of Chicken Convoy. Bump of Chicken Convoy. Oh, the multicolored Earth redeco from... Right, yeah. Okay, so if no one remembers, because this was like 2 years ago at this point, Jesus Christ, what was the company called? Trigger released the anniversary video, right, for Transformers, and it had all the references, and then we had a random clip of Optimus Prime turning green-legged, blue-groined, red torso. One arm was orange and one arm was light blue, and then his head was green. That was the Bump of Chicken Optimus Prime, which was a bizarrely designed Optimus Prime from a band, I think, in Japan. I'm sorry, I'm not Japanese, nor am I into the J-pop scene enough to know who these people are. But it's in relation to that. So this third-party company decided to, for some reason, do that. Oh my god, I've clicked off it. oh, good. It's not too far. Here it is. Okay. So let's have a look at the lineup. Yeah, I think, yeah, looking at them, I think we have talked about these before, at least this mold. And yeah, these are just small Optimus Primes. The dead mode Optimus Prime, kind of boring. It's just like gray chest area. So instead of the red parts, they're just gray yawn. I think if you're gonna do a dead Optimus Prime, maybe paint on some damage or mold some damage, at least like get his like legs to be gray as well, because he when he died, maybe those parts should be black. But they can't be blue, and his head can't be blue, and his fist can't be blue. If you're trying to sell me on like dead Optimus Prime, he needs to be more dead, not just have like his torso gray. That's weird in itself. Shattered Glass Prime is fine. Yeah, again, he's purple. Maybe not the right tint of purple. And he has translucent blue windows, and I don't think that's right. I'm pretty sure that the windows should be like tinted yellow, right? So again, that seems like a little cheeky. No, oh, and they've got tinted red tinted windows for Nemesis Prime, and Nemesis Prime looks like your standard Nemesis Prime, black and gray. He's got green on his groin parts instead of yellow for whatever reason. Fine, whatever. Sure, there's a reason for that. Toxitron looks nice. They got the color schemes right on him. Looks like they've used the red again for his window tint, which I think is correct. Pretty sure that's the case. He's probably the best out of them, I guess. And the Ultra Magnus is just white prime. Yippee. Not much to say there. I can't say that these fill me with much glumbo. I don't schleam very much from these. They very much, I look at them and go, eh. These look kind of like capsule toys that you get from a gashapon machine in Japan. I've got images of the translucent one as well, and it's a translucent one. Yeah. Imagine the figure, right? Okay. Imagine you can see through it. Ah. Yeah, okay. Now you've got it. Oh, and there's the bump one. The bump one's fine. It's messy as fuck because of the nature of its color scheme, but it's exactly what if you want that, then I guess you're going to be served by it, I suppose. So yeah, not for me. Clearly, we're never going to be for me, but okay. I think I'd rather get the Doctor Wu ones. I don't know of the quality of these. I can only obviously go by how they look, and I think the Doctor Wu ones, at least in my eyes, look a little bit nicer, if you ask me. But what does Andy know? I'll tell you what else I'll do. We'll have a look at it after we check out TFcon, but we should also have a look at Show Z, just in case there's extra bits on there that hasn't popped up. So I'll try and remind myself of that before I end the show, okay? All right. So 3-0 have shown off the MDLX Toxitron. Whom might that be? Well, that's Toxitron. Obviously, it's the Optimus Prime figure that they've done from the MDLX line, which I think is it's their 7-inch line. So it's not, I don't think it's the big line. I think they have a bigger line, I'm pretty sure. So this is their Optimus Prime figure, but what if he was in Toxitron colors? And again, I like this color scheme. I do like the fact that they've gone a little, well, I won't say hard on the color scheme, but they've added a little bit of extra pizzazz to the color scheme by giving him, and granted, it's not a huge amount, they've given him a purple stripe, or like a cross, yeah, a purple stripe on each of his shoulders, and then have a Decepticon insignia in a yellow an orange outline that's dribbling, and then has a Decepticon insignia in that. It's like, that's quite nice. On the head, they've decided to use a lighter purple, so it looks more like a lavender versus the darker purple of the helmet. Again, that's nice for a little bit of color pulling. So it's not just one purple head; it's a bit of a distinction. It's like, okay. So let's read the blurbo. Okay, there. 3-0 is proud to announce the MDLX Toxitron, a monstrous abomination with the face of Optimus Prime. A failed experiment by the Decepticons to create the ultimate warrior, Toxitron oozes and a corrosive slime, if I could read, from the seams of his armor, making him a warting vat of toxic sludge. MDLX Toxitron stands approximately 7 inches tall, which is 17.8 centimeters tall, With approximately 48 points of articulation, cast in a die-cast metal frame. Yay! I love die-cast. MDLX Toxitron features a newly sculpted head and revels in his noxious paint scheme of green slime, purple, and orange. I didn't say orange. I said orange. The chest window is crafted with a red transparent material and printed with a shattered pattern. I'm guessing if they haven't done it, that's for the shattered glass version and will be at some point. While multiple parts of the body are adorned with liquid ooze design, creating the effect of a corrosive slime seeping out. So, MDLX Toxitron is equipped with a variety of mutated accessories. They're not mutated, including an ion blaster, energy axe, matrix, as well as 6 interchangeable hands. So it says mutated. They're not mutated. They're just the accessories. If they were mutated, then that would be quite neat. Like maybe you go silly, right? Maybe you go silly. You remold the gun, and you make it look like. You know what would be really fun, and I don't know if they have the rights to it because I can't remember who owns Nerf or Super Soaker. Do you remember, chat? If you're old and dead like me, do you remember the Super Soaker back in the day? It was lime green, and the bottle for it was dark green, and it had an orange nozzle. I think it was like the Super Soaker 500. If you have a gun that looked like that for Toxitron, or if you had any gun that just looked like it was a 90s Super Soaker, that would be quite fun. If you made the energy, again, this is clearly asking too much, but if you made the Energon axe look like it was dripping, so you added on some like goo like bubbles on it, that could be quite fun. I'd be down with that. Maybe instead of the Matrix, maybe you give him something that looks not identical to this, because this would probably be copyrighted, I presume. But you make it look like the, what was it called? The TCR. Do you remember the mutagen from the live action Turtles movie, the second one? And it came in that kind of canister. And all the toys around that time for the Turtles had that little ooze bottle. If you had something like that, so instead of a matrix of leadership, it's just like, oh, if you wanted to make a reference to like RoboCop 2, right? Do you remember the villain in that when he was put in the mech and he kept on having his, what was it? Was it Nukem? Was that the drug? And he kept like in his robot form, he had like a little hand which would grab the Nukem and take it into his robot body. Something like that. Something like that could be a quite nice little nod, right? I'd look at that and be like, oh, okay. I mean, it's a bit more, and it'd be a bit more than just a color scheme. Either way, be neat. Hey, General Techno. General Techno says afternoon. Afternoon? My God, that's some American thinking right there. As I look at the time and go, oh God, it's late. I hope you're doing well, sir. But in terms of recolor, it's a Canadian thing. Oh, my bad. A Canadian thing. Same thing. Yeah, same continent. Attached to the same time zone, sort of. In terms of a redo, I'll always like Toxitron visually. They always look good, at least in my eyes, because they're very poppy. They say they've painted on ooze detail. I see some like around the base of the foot. There's a little on the green part as well. Is there any? Is there any on the thighs? Yeah, it looks like the quote unquote ooze detail is only on a few parts, and unfortunately, they're on the green parts, the lime green parts. So if you're putting a light orange on a lime green, it's not going to pop too much because they're similar-ish hues of color. The only way you could make it pop is if you had like a black outline around it to make it pop off. They've got one bit on like his back on the purple section, and you can see that, but it's only like really small. And there doesn't seem to be any on like his thighs or his waist or his bicep area. Like all the gray parts are gray. TCRI. Thank you, Excel Hedge. TCRI. Yeah, it seems fine. And Mr. Techno says, yeah, I saw this guy earlier. Looks good. I have the Shattered Glass version of the MDLX mold, and it's very fun. Okay. I imagine it's rather expensive, though, right? and I'm sure it's mostly worth it. But I imagine these figures are not desperately cheapo. They don't look it. It looks nice. Like I say, I kind of wish they'd push the boat out a bit more, but it's a repaint and it's an obscure repaint. Like, how many people are really going to go out of their way to get a Toxitron versus just the Optimus Prime and just leave it after that? Yeah, probably not a lot, in all honesty, to be fair. So, what are you going to do? General Techno says MDLX aren't too bad. For retail price, I'm guessing. Let me see what they go for now. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know, and I'll read out those prices. And I'm sure I'll be slightly horrified by it anyway, and go, "Oh my god, no!" But 3-0 on done because at TFcon LA 2026, which is either, I'm guessing, still happening right now or is finished or close to it. They showed off some other, they showed off some other stuff, so we'll talk about that. General Techno says looks like, depending on the size, in the 80 to 120 US dollar range, depending on the height of the character. That makes sense. It's got a couple of hours still to go. Ah, okay. I hear Jobby the Hong was at TFcon. So I hope if you went, I hope you got to see him and grabbed his face and gave him a big old smooch and said, "I love your work, Jobby. I'd love to tongue your ass," or something like that. I don't know. I don't know Jobby that well to tongue his ass. Not yet, anyway. Maybe you don't need permission. Yeah, he was on one of the creator panels from what I read. Okay, good for him. I think I saw a video that he put up earlier today saying that he was thanking all the people that came to see him over the event. So I assume, General Techno, that you are there at TFCon. So I hope you've had a good time. Hope lots of people have had a good time while they're there. And it's been reasonably good. I'm guessing there's no extra news that's came out. Like, we've had the panel, and I'm assuming that's probably about it, right? There's probably nothing else in terms of new stuff. 3-0 showed off some stuff. I don't know whether these are brand new, but they had stuff in the case of, they're all MDLX until they're not. So we'll go through the MDLXs, which are Cliff Jumper, comic book edition, Optimus Prime, comic book edition, Ramjet, Shockwave, Shattered Glass Sideswipe, and Stepper. And then we have the DLX line, which are the big ones, which are Jazz from the 2007 movie, Cybertron Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie, Shockwave from the Bumblebee movie, and Sound Blaster, it says, and Ravage from the Bumblebee movie. So let's have a quick look. So we got the Shockwave from B movie. Wait. That's the Shockwave from B movie. And then there's the MDLX Shockwave. Okay, so the movie Bumblebee Shockwave, gray prototype at the moment. The MDLX Shockwave is not. It looks a bit strange to me proportionally. Like, his groin seems ginormous. His head seems really wide as well. It looks a little bit odd visually, I think. Comic Optimus Prime is the Skybound comic Optimus Prime, so he has Megatron arm. General Techno says, I don't think so, no, question mark. Third party panel is probably it. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's one thing I found out. Sorry. That's one fun thing about the LA show. 3-0 does get a booth there. I would love to go back to that someday. It's different beast to the Toronto show indeed. Well, here's a question, General Techno, since you're here. Which show do you think is better? And obviously you need to take out the fact that you need to travel, obviously, a lot further to get to LA than Toronto, I presume. Depending on, well, no, you'd have to. No matter where you are in Canada, it's gonna take you longer to get to LA than it would do California. Sorry, LA than it would do Toronto. So, if you could sum up why one show is better than the other, I'd be interested to know. Because there will be, you'll have a preference. Everybody has preferences. Even if you have like two children, you're gonna like one child more than the other. I would. Mr. White says, not keen on the purple Shockwave. It looks a bit humanized, bar the crotch. You mean proportionally? Yeah, there's something. I think it's the torso as well. I think it's the torso for this MDLX Shockwave. Like, usually you think of a G1 style. Now, clearly this is meant to be a stylized version of Shockwave to some degree. But I feel like his chest, like his big, weird mono boob thing, should be quite broad, and it feels quite shrunken compared to like the width of his shoulders. So it feels like his entire torso could be maybe just beefed up in terms of its general overall size. I think that's maybe. Let's bring him down a little bit. The Ramjet is the Starscream mold. We've seen Thrust and Dirge, so it's just the Ramjet if we haven't talked about that before. The Sideswipe is the Shattered Glass one. There. And Sound Blaster is is Soundwave, but what if he was black? No huge shock there. I think if they wanted to sell it better, it would have been a good idea. Because I don't know if the original DLX Soundwave from Bumblebee had Laserbeak. If it came with Ravage, this Sound Blaster should have came with somebody else. Or at the very least, repainted this to be Glit. White version of Ravage. That would have been a better idea, at least in my eyes. Otherwise, it's just, I got 2 Ravages now. Yippee. The bee looks fine. I don't know why, but whenever I see the Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee, all I think is John Cena. And I don't know why I associate Bumblebee with John Cena. Because I should think about John Cena as John Cena, even in that movie. But I look at B and I'm like, oh, that's John Cena Bumblebee. And that's it. Okay, yeah, that's fine. General Techno says, hard to say. Toronto is where my regular con friends all congregate, if I could speak. And it's smaller, slightly smaller one. That makes sense. I'm guessing the hall's just bigger in LA. LA has all the guests, though. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Because I'm guessing it's just way cheaper because everybody lives there. I feel bad for them having to live in LA. All the guests, though, and different people who I get to see. That's, yep. Sucks that a bunch of the Vancouver-based Beast Wars VAs had to cancel last minute. Oh, really? For LA due to an ice storm. Oh, damn. They still got Gary Chalk down on Sunday, I think. Oh, damn. Okay, I didn't know that. That's a bit of a bummer. Obviously, nothing can be helped there. It's just, hey, Canada, would you like some snow? Well, here you go. But General Techno also says, but yeah, the LA show gets all the guests because of them. It's just a short drive and to make some easy money, sign autographs, and then go back up. Yeah. I don't begrudge any of the guests for like, I don't really want to trek all the way to Canada or for TF Nation to England, where I could just get in a car and have I don't know, like an hour, 2 hours drive and make a butt ton of cash. I mean, I'd do that. If someone said, hey, Andy, drive down to Manchester and you'll make like £1,000 in a day, I'd be like, yeah, okay. I wouldn't enjoy the drive, but I'd do it. I think that's an easy win. So yeah, that's fair. All right. I threw this story in because it was a quickie. This is just an image of the Transformers Overgear, Ironhide, and Blackout. Why am I throwing this in here? Because it was photoed in person with a Commander Optimus Prime. So again, I threw it in here because I thought it was a good way to kind of gauge the size of these figures. So if you have the Commander Optimus Prime, these are comparable in height to him. They're not in scale in terms of like a proper G1 scale or anything like that, but the Ironhide's little side antenna comes up to probably near enough Prime's side antenna, and Blackout looks like he's maybe a smidge, if not a little taller, than about the same height. So Voyager, Commander-ish scale, whatever that means these days, it's that kind of height. I just wanted to throw that in. It was just a thing I went, okay. Studio Series has confirmed or shown off the first look of their Thundercracker figure. You will be shocked, chat. You will be shocked. You'll be so shocked you'll poo your pants. That it is using the Starscream figure mold, as far as I can tell. It does have a new head, which, unlike the Starscream figure, doesn't look like it's crap. We don't have a close-up image of it, but we talked about it at the start of the show with the DNA design toy upgrades. That Starscream needed a head upgrade because it was terrible. This looks like it might not need that. Instead of 2 null rays sculpted onto his shoulder, he's got 2 Gatling guns sculpted onto his shoulder, reminiscent of the Gatling guns from Fall of Cybertron. Do they combine together to make that gun? I don't know. But they are on his shoulders. It doesn't show him with a weapons. I assume they might be his weapons if you want to have him hold them, but I've got no proof for that. The image comes from Japan, clearly. And then we have some really tiny images of him doing arm poses and stuff and just general posing. Again, it's just the Starscream figure, but what if blue and with a new head. So the jet mode is still kind of fat, to be honest. It's still a bit on the wonky side, but okay, one more to go, and you've got all your Seekers. Hey, spoilers. They might be doing a Skywarp out of this mold. Oh, I know. Shocking. I do appreciate the new head, though. At the very least, that's nice. And I guess DNA Toys are going to look at this and go, huh, well, we could give, maybe they'll give him a new head, maybe they won't. They've already got the filler parts done, so the filler parts on for the inside of his thighs and the back of his heels are going to be done, I assume, because we can't get a good angle of it. Oh yeah, they'll do the filler parts for behind the pointy bits behind his head. Those are already done, so they just need to remold them in the right color. What else will the upgrade kit? Maybe what they'll do, depending how quick the Skywarp comes out, maybe it'll be a double pack, so you'll get Skywarp's bits and Thundercracker's bits, and then what I think they'll do, at least for Thundercracker, is because his weapons are Gatling guns here, they'll make it so that you can have null rays there as well. That's what I would guess. So it's like, oh, you remove those, don't worry, null rays, unless they're glued on, but that would be weird to glue them on. General Texas says, nah, it's DNA. They'll milk this as much as they can with a separate release. The only reason why I say they might not is we've already seen what the Starscream kit comes with. And the big selling point in that kit is, I suppose what they could do for this is they could just recolor the guns as well, right? The big new molded gun, which is more accurate to the movie. So they'd probably give him and Skywarp that. So yeah, that's it. So they'd have the gun, they'd have the thigh filler, they'd have the thruster filler, they'd have the back of the heel filler. They just need something to the big selling point. Maybe they'd have a G1 styled head, quote unquote, and then they'd be like, that's good enough. Maybe that would be enough for them to do it. And then they'll do a Skywarp one, obviously, because it's coming. So, the panel, baby. What do we have? Okay, I should have I know what I'll do. Let's make a double deuce of this panel. Let's double it. And then I'll put it over on the other screen, and then we can have the pictures on one side where you can see them, and then I can have the list on the other side. That's a better idea, but I need it not to cover up chat, please. I still like to be able to see chat. Thank you. All right. So there's that. Okay. Can you see the image? You can't see the image. That's the main thing. No, stop it. Stop it, Opera. Okay, so the first one we've got is the Colorverse versus Remix. I have no idea what that is. Well, that's this, whatever this is. Which is a Action Master Thundercracker and a, oh god, what's he called? It's Laserbeak in orange. Sundor? Is that his name? It's Sundor. And it looks like this is a crossover with TF Source. Is this TF Source, Toy Dojo, and some other stuff? There's not a lot of info here. Yeah, TF Source, A3U, and Toy Dojo. That's all it says here. But it's clearly a repaint of a figure, and I'm guessing it's a special limited run for these stores. We can, but it's cropped on the right. Yeah, that's fine. As long as the main image can be seen, that's the main thing. I can crop it down if it needs to be. This was a joint exclusive. That's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, it's right, it's Ocular Max. Right. Oh, it's Ocular Max Sundor. Oh, and Make Toys. Make Toys figure. Huh. What a weird combo. So if you thought to yourself you liked the Make Toys figure, but you wanted him in Action Master colors, or, I mean, this will probably be bundled together. You like the Ocular Max Laserbeak, but you wanted him in Sundor colors. I guess this is the thing you could get. I mean, okay, fair enough. Next up, we have Metagate, who I haven't heard of, but we might be a thing. So this is the Metagate G07G Drift TLK. The Last Night, I'm guessing? If it is, it has opening doors and an opening bonnet for the car. So I'm guessing it has an interior as well. That's not shown. Oh, look at that. They've got the symbol for the car, like in the front, where the car manufacturer logo would go. there's clearly a little part that's missing, so I'm guessing they don't get sued. Now I don't know if the part will come with the figure and they're just not showing it for legal reasons or what, but there's clearly a hole in there. Oh, so this is green drift. Okay. Was drift green in the last night? Or is this just a recolor? I'm guessing it might just be a recolor. General Techno says, I don't know how that mold is still intact. The Make Toys one or the Laserbeak one. XL Hedge comes in and says TF source H3 and up. Yeah, we got that. General Techno says he was not green. No, okay, so this is just rando repainto. It seems fair enough. I don't think he looks great in green. It's not bad. It's just, it's fine. It's green and black. The mold of the figure still looks decent. It's still highly detailed. It's probably one of those transformations where he basically he has the gas from that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode where the skin turns inside out. I'm guessing that's how this guy transforms. But it looks very good if you're in the market for a drift. Oh, it's very posable too. If you're in the market for a green drift, I guess this is an option, which is fair enough. General Techno says, I mean the Make Toys Seeker. I think Laserbeak has been run a few times now, but nothing on the level of the number of the times Make Toys has recolored that Seeker. How old is that mold now at this point? It's pretty old, right? Must be. Next up, we have Rising Force, Fall of Cybertron Bruticus. Huh. Ironic. We were just talking about the Hasbro Fall of Cybertron Bruticus last week. What a shit toy. Oh, I remember these. Right. These are we got the measurements for these guys. So like Brawl 17 centimeters tall, Vortex is 14 centimeters tall, Onslaught 16 centimeters tall. It's this set of figures. Is there anything new though? This shows them combined together to be Bruticus, which I want to say they've shown us before. At 31 centimeters tall, for those that care. Do we have nothing? It doesn't look like there's anything new for this guy, unless we hadn't seen the Bruticus images before. I'm not entirely sure. They show him pose with the flamethrower hand. So the blast off can transform into the flamethrower version of that arm, which is nice. Again, this looks like this is hard to be, not incredibly biased for, especially after talking about the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus from Hasbro last week and seeing how reminding myself how fucking terrible that toy was and those individual figures were. This is unsurprisingly a marked upgrade. And it's always nice to see the Fall of Cybertron toys get done. Yes, Bruticus gets run through the mill 1,000 times, which is always a tad to see, because it's like, oh, there's another Bruticus. You better get him. Everybody loves Bruticus. Everybody loves combiners. At least it's Fall of Cybertron, at least. I'd like them to do some other things from Fall. You know what would be neat, but difficult to do? It'd be neat to see them do other takes on characters. But who? We have, because of Planet X, we have had a lot of the War and the Fall of Cybertron lines, to be fair, but that's all we've had, and we've only had them in like a masterpiece scale. So if we could have them a more deluxe-y scale where they could slot into your toy collection, that would be quite nice as well. I'd be down with that. If they wanted to try and be really creative, though it might be dangerous to do because it didn't have any media presence in the game, you could do some other characters like Bludgeon. If you wanted to be sticking within the game, you could do some of those no-name designs. I can't remember any of the characters, but you know how in multiplayer mode, each of the Decepticons and Autobots had you had the Seeker, but they had like different designs to them, and I think you could like swap around heads and stuff to do a little bit of customization, if I remember that correctly. Maybe go and do something like that. Could be quite cool. It could be neat. Let's see. General Techno's popped up some messages. I'm very much tempted by this Bruticus that we're talking about. Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, but in generation scale and minus the cost cutting of 2012 has my attention. I think it should, to be fair. It's a really nice design. And again, them not being masterpiece scale makes them a little bit more affordable. Obviously, that's in big quotations because they're still third-party figures, so they're still going to be very expensive, obviously. But probably less so than a masterpiece scale figure, I would think. I may have bought those toys several times over, given I got the San Diego Comic-Con set, the Shiny Takara set, and the Wreck of Ruination set. God damn, dude. God damn, they were milking you with tatty product. They did do the generic Decepticon Ground Trooper. He's great. Oh, did they? Okay. Would be nice. Oh, no, of course they did. Yeah, Studio Series did him. Not desperately well, but they did do him. I don't think a third-party company's done him before, though, right? Barricade, but with better legs. Yeah, it wasn't great. It'd be nicer to see like a third party company do them. But again, for a third party company, could they justify doing like basic trooper? Probably not, to be honest. Just from a sales perspective, Hasbro can maybe do it. Yeah, I don't think Planet X ever did the generic. No, I don't think they did. And again, I get why, because like I say, it's just like that would probably be too risky. Yeah, you have to stick with the big namers if you're a third party company. I get it. It's just annoying. Just annoying because I want something more. More. Next up, we have Robot Toys. They show off the Transmetal Primal in silver for some reason. I don't know why it's a prototype. I don't know why it's in silver, but do you like Monkey on Surfboard? I do. I think Monkey on Surfboard is neat. I think his robot mode was always in terms of a design, but I do like the monkey mode. This is a new version of that figure, so it looks like he's more articulated. I would imagine, looking at the joints and whatnot, I imagine that he's going to transform relatively close to the original version. Because, I mean, to be fair, the original one transforms well. You know, it was at that stage in Beast Wars where, you know, second season, they did transmelt and they went, we can, for the most part, just have them actually transform. And it just looks right in both modes, rather than the first season, which is just magic. Don't think about it, it's magic. This Transmel onwards felt a little bit more feasible for the transformations, which is why they started looking better and the toys started looking better too, in my opinion. But this looks nice. It looks like he's got more articulation. His hands, his monkey hands and his robot hands look like they're more posable. In monkey surfboard mode, clearly the monkey mode has an articulated neck, so he can actually turn his little monkey head around, which is nice. And they also showed more images of the MP Waspinator. It doesn't say whether Transmetal Optimus Primal is MP scale, but if the Waspinator is MP scale, I've got to assume that the Transmetal one is as well. That just makes sense. Techno says, I assume that's the unpainted prototype of a render. All render. Yeah, I imagine that's the case. But yeah, guess I'm replacing my Transart. Yeah, well, was the Transart one okay? Because Transart, I kind of stopped with Transart after Tarantulas, and I went, wow, he just explodes. To transform him, he explodes. It really put me off the figure of the line, which was a shame. But it's good that somebody else is doing Beast Wars, because it's not well tapped well at this point. Because again, just do G1 because you can make money from G1. Because so it's nice to see somebody doing some Beast Wars, even though Masterpiece isn't my scale. They show Waspinator with a little stand. The Waspinator does look really nice, to be fair. Maybe the wings. I don't know if the wings are accurate. I'm gonna assume they are. I'd like the wings to be a little bit of a bigger look to them. Ah, they've got the Waspinator pose with a flower. That's nice. And look, he's doing bee things. Ah, and then they've got him transformed as well. Wow, I thought this was a CG render. What is the Tarantulas he's with? There's an image of Waspinator transformed, holding clearly a much smaller third-party Tarantulas. Like he's gonna fucking kill him. This looks really good. Hey, Takara. Yeah? Who's Waspinator? Who? Waspa who? Takara who? No, we don't want to do the rest of the Predacons. No. Yeah, this looks really solid. I would mildly worry about his gigantic anus, because he does have a big B bottom. But yeah, this looks really good. He stood next to, I assume, the Takara Megatron? I'm not sure. And a Scorponok of some description. That might be theirs. And he seems to fit well with them. Yeah, this looks great. That's real good. Oh, wow, he's next to a tiny Cheetor as well. What else is there? It's probably is, but they have done legend scale stuff. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Transart is more or less upscaled original toys with some tweaks. Sort of, kind of. It's kind of that. It is. It's more than a. It's more than a knockoff with minor upgrades. It's more than that, but it's not a completely new design. I would agree with that. There's a little bit more to it than that. But I understand again where you're coming from. That's the Robot Toys Tarantulas. They did a small Tarantulas and Cheeto. Oh yeah, that's the one. The Primal is Tarantulas. Sorry, the Primal is. I don't know what the is. Tarantulas / Rapchat. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. That's probably the Transart. Primal is Tarantulas and Rat Trap, much lesser. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'll be more interested in robot toys when they do more, I guess, legend scale stuff, because I like the look of the legend scale stuff, to be honest. But yeah, this Waspinator, pretty neat. Pretty impressed by it, to be honest. Will they do a repaint of him into Wasp? Is it Wasp? No, Buzzsaw. Will they remold the head and make him into Buzzsaw? I doubt it, but it'd be funny to see. Next up is Steel Kitty Party. Oh, this is the JGM SKP05 Chibi Abominus. Yep, that's him. We have a colored render, but that's about it there. We also have a silhouette of, oh, what's his name? The train dude from Headmasters. Raiden. I got it. I didn't need help. Oh, I said just as I said it didn't need help. I just look over and chest says Raiden, and I go, there. Yeah, I got it without help. But yeah, they're doing Raiden. Okay, if you're in the market for like a chibi style figure, then I mean, the Abominus looks fairly nice. The helmet looks like it's maybe the wrong color, at least to my eyes, because in my eyes, Abominus's helmet, Abominus's? That sounds weird. Abominus's helmet doesn't have white on it, but this version of them that they've done here has quite a lot of white. Like the cheeks are white, the top of the helmet part is white as well, when I guess it should be either purple. It should mostly be purple, at least cartoon accurate version wise. I guess they're going for the toy accurate version, because if I remember, that was mostly white. But then the little pointy bits on the side of the helmet weren't purple, but they've made them purpley-ish here. Interesting. For those not aware, this is going to be, if you want the height, I can't read the rest of what I assume is Chinese writing, but it says it's going to be 17.5 centimeters tall when combined. I think Raiden is also 17.5 centimeters tall as well. I mean, yeah, we only have the silhouette of it, but if you like the look of the Abominus, Raiden you'll probably enjoy as well, I would assume. That makes sense. I don't know how good they are as a company in terms of the QC and how all the individual figures work and how well it feels combined together. But again, it's not a huge market for, or there's not a huge amount of companies doing chibi style versions of characters, and probably even smaller amount they're doing chibi combiners. So it's something. Again, nothing that I would go for myself, but it's like, okay. Next up, we have the Dreamstar Toys doing the DST02-006 Excavator Warrior. Who is that? It's a Scavenger, of course. So this looks like a very stylized version of Scavenger. I can't even tell if he transforms. It's to the point where I look at it and I because of the way the head's been designed, it doesn't scream scavenger to me. It screams what kind of robot design is this? I want to say it's a Japanese mecha, but in terms of like more in the eyes of, it's not one to one when I make this comparison, by the way, but it feels like it's more in the vein design wise of like an Armored Core unit than it would be. Like it doesn't look like a Gundam, for instance. It doesn't look like a super robot, but it looks more like a yeah, design aesthetic wise, a bit more tending towards a Armored Core. At least I feel, and I think it's just the way that the head's done because it's quite small and it almost looks like if you got Scavenger's head and you just got your finger and like squished it downwards. That's probably why it kind of throws me off because it's like his head's been squished compared to like most scrappers or scavengers you've seen in the past. At least for me. General Techno says yes, it does. I mean, I'm not hugely surprised, but when I say it doesn't look like it transforms, it's because it's very clean and there's not very obvious lines where he kind of exploded apart. He comes with a weird stick where you can then add on let's call them two mini batleths and then a big old trident poker at the top. Very odd looking weapon design. Maybe it's again, I'm assuming because of the no, I was gonna say Chinese, but I don't think it is Chinese. It's an interesting look. Oh yeah, there's his transform state. Yeah, the transform mode looks all right. It is funny to see the weird like, little tiny hand batleths on the side of an excavator. That looks odd, but it shows that the weapons can be stored. Color scheme is a metallic green, kind of almost like an army green, I'd say. So it's not really again Constructicon stereotypical G1 coloring, so if that might throw some people off. Then we do see him in his big hand mode as well. I'm actually quite liking the forearm. The forearm looks really like dense, like it's a really thick forearm. Clearly, it's. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, clearly that has to be an additional part. I don't think that's stored anywhere on the figure, and that's fine. I don't mind parts forming. Some people will get antsy and pissy over parts forming, but I don't think it looks too bad personally. The hand looks like it's fairly posable with fingers splaying and bending in places, so that looks quite nice as well, to be honest. I think the design, knowing the Transformers market as it is, at least people who buy Transformers stuff, I don't think the design will resonate with a huge amount of people. Again, because it is different and it's not your standard Transformers G1 design. I think that'll make it a bit more of a niche pickup for people, unless you just like I just buy third party stuff. Obviously, then, but if you're doing that, you got some money, baby, and you should be donating to my podcast. Is what I say to that. But yeah, it's interesting enough. They also showed some prototype images of Brawl, because if you're gonna do some combiners, why not? I guess do more. So we've got Brawl here. Again, not a stereotypical G1 design. Looks interesting, though. He comes with a lot of guns. It looks like they've tried to give him his extra guns, the gray weapons that you'd stick on the original toy. They've given him those, and then a few extra handguns as well. So that's kind of nice. It's interesting to see that there's like a little clip thing on the front of his tank mode where you can lift up the turret of the barrel, the barrel of the cannon, and you can clip it, have this clip go underneath it to hold it up. That's kind of interesting. It's an interesting look. It's got translucent parts in the head, seemingly as well. Mr. Techno says, I like to note third-party stuff. Excuse me. We're not necessarily the target we're not necessarily the target demographic the Chinese market is. No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I can only speak to like the American market or the Western market. Obviously, I'm not Asian, so I can't really speak to their side of things because I don't know. I can only talk to my side of things. Where the bonus income. Yeah, that's fair. So we've also got DX9. We've got a few DX. Oh, sorry, this is DX9 Mini. Andy can't read. DX9 Mini. We have DX9 Mini 10, 9A, 9B, and M1. So They haven't named these, but it looks like, I'm guessing if this is in order, 10 is Super Jinrai, as we have Jinrai and him in his super mode with Jinrai on his shoulders. And then we have a zoomed out version of how tall he is next to their. Who's that? Is that Highbrow? The Highbrow figure? Is that Highbrow? I think that's Highbrow. Oh, it's Brainstorm. Either way, it's Highbrow or Brainstorm. He stood next to him, so it gives an idea of how tall he is. There's a bin full of Jinrai legs leading in the assembly process. Jinrai in his normal mode, combined together. I guess these are completed figures. And then it shows images. Oh, okay. So the 10 and the 90A, it wasn't that way around. I don't know what the Jinrai is. What number is that? Because that's not listed here on the list of stuff. But the 10 is Star Saber. The 9A is it looks like it's. Oh, I'm an idiot. What am I saying? What am I doing? It's Dreadwing and Darkwing. It's Hydra and Buster. Of course it is. So Buster is A and Hydra is B. Obviously, I'm just stupid. And then we've got Mini 01. Sorry, M01. And they show a silhouette of a jet that turns into a muscle car. Oh, I know who this is. This is this is either the red one or the blue one, Decepticon from the Bumblebee movie. Whichever one it is. It's that. I'm 90% sure it's that. Whichever, I can't remember their names because I only watched that movie once. Shadow, thank you. Excelhead. Thank you, General Techno. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one. So, okay, I'm not too interested in that. I'm mildly interested in what the Star Saber will look like, and more so what Hydra and Buster will look like. I definitely want to have a look at see what. Do they have any DS? I'm iffy because I don't know. Does General Techno? You might know this. Does DX9 have a good reputation as a third-party company? I think it's Fans Toys that don't have a good reputation, right? Okay, so minis they've done so far. They've got the 03, which is Brainstorm. Let me pull it up here. Stop it. Thank you. So they've got Brainstorm. They've got Jinrai. Stretch the screen, please. And then they've got Double Clouder, and then they've got Chrome Dome, obviously the boring one, because no one likes Chrome Dome. Sorry, Chrome Dome. And they've also got... Oh, okay, yeah, I remember the Double Clouder figure. I don't know why it didn't set me off here, but okay. Oh, they've sold out of all of these. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. All right. So this will add to them. But like I say, I'm not sure how well they're respected. I've not gotten a lot of their stuff. I'm not sure. I think they're reliable enough to do Legend scale. I mean, it's bold to step into that market, but I guess at least doing Headmasters and Victory is at least doing something a little bit more interesting, and Master Force as well. It's doing something a little bit more interesting than a lot of the Legend scale people are doing, which again is the very safe play, which is just do G1. Yes, this is just G1, but this is I'd say more of an interesting path to go. And they're doing Bumblebee as well, which isn't interesting to me. We got Finished Dr. Wu next, and I have a feeling we've talked about these before. We got the DWES01 Flight Track, which is flywheels. I'm 90% sure we've talked about this. Maybe this is the first time we've seen like the fully done version of this? Question mark? Maybe. I remember. No, it must be because I'm sure we talked about Battle Trap. I don't know. Either way, I'm reasonably positive on this because this looks nice, especially for what I assume is their Micromaster scaled figures. Ish figures. Let's go with Micromaster ish scaled figures. This looks good for flywheels. It's got both jet and tank, and looks a lot more posable than the original G1 figure, which, granted, isn't too difficult to do. And there's the flywheel. He stood next to the flywheels as well, which is DW-ESO2 Trapmaker. Yeah, because didn't we see a repaint of the Trapmaker in black? I think we did. I want to say we did. We got the Great General Toys, the DJS BS-01 Skybreaker, which is Ultra Magnus. Ooh, that's a big boy. That's a big old boy. Which version of Ultra Magnus is this meant to be? He looks familiar, but it might be a stylized version of him. This is going to be 27 centimeters tall, so he's going to be a big old hefty chunky boy. Seems like he comes with a big old hefty chunky hammer as well, or a gun. This prototype is done up in silver, mostly silver. So again, this is, I guess, maybe something third parties are intending to do to make their products look a bit fancier when they're in the prototype stage. His boob opens up to have a matrix of leadership revealable. His trailer has a ramp, which I'm not quite sure where the ramp would go up to, because there's some big blocks standing in the way of that. And then there's like a side ramp for like a smaller car as well. Oh yeah, he does have a gigantic hammer. It's a fairly good design. It looks like it's not exactly IDW Ultra Magnus, but it looks like it's kind of in that vein. Let's push it in that vein. Almost going to, again, sort of Kang Toys styled, but you can tell it's definitely Ultra Magnus at the very least. It looks pretty nice, to be honest. Very posable, super posable, in fact. Yeah, it looked good, very good. Makes a lot of Hasbro stuff kind of puts it to shame, but I'm sure the price will put a lot of people to shame as well, of course, because that's the nature of third-party products. They're expensive, but you could argue for a good reason or not, I suppose. Yeah, I haven't heard of Great General Toys before, but if this is their first step into the field, it looks fairly solid, to be honest. And we got next up the 01 Studio, or 01 Studio, however you want to see it. So it's the 01S-06 Broadcon, which is broadside. It is a standard G1 broadside, so he is arguably flat and boring in terms of his design, because it's broadside. You know, it's like they've decided to make him like his G1 version, so it's like his silhouette's kind of flat. He's kind of boring to look at, but if you want an accurate broadside, you know, what are you gonna do? Hello, Rodimus Power Toy Collector. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. The figure looks reasonably clean. Let's see how his ship mode. Yep, the ship mode looks like a giant rectangle, effectively. Yep. Okay. Before we move on, chat, is the plane mode going to look good, dog shit, or meh? I think it might look meh to dog shit. Yeah. yeah, that's a broadside ship design. Again, this isn't the toy designer's fault. This is the original design of Broadside's fault. You know, it was their fault back in the 80s when they made Broadside look like this. And now we always have to have Broadside looking like shit, unfortunately. And he does. He doesn't look good. I will say, though, for this third-party figure, I'm not a big fan of the tips of the wings here. It looks like they just they don't look like they're part of the wing. They're clearly a separate piece. They're smaller, so the edges of the wing don't quite line up. And it's a little bit thinner as well. It'll either like fold underneath or push inside of the main part of the wing, so it looks a little bit off that way. You know, not a smooth wing design. And yes, that's been very anal, definitely. But this is a third-party figure, which is going to be very expensive. So I think for the amount of money that you spend on a figure, the more expensive it is, the more arsey you're justifiably allowed to be with a figure. At least I would say so. You might disagree with that. That's how Andy feels. That's how I see things. Next up, we have Magic Square with their creepy symbol. They are showing off the Technobots, which again, I want to say we've covered before. So these are the legend scale versions of all of the Technobots, Lightspeed, Nosecone, etc., etc. I'm 90% sure we've talked about these, so there's no point reiterating. unless they've got a new image. Oh, okay. They've got unpainted, colored prototypes. They've also got some figures behind them. They've also got some. Yes, they've got a Kranix behind them, which is not the Hasbro Kranix. I don't recognize him. I don't recognize this guy either. Those knee pads behind Nose Cone. They look familiar, but I don't know who they are. There's a 6-shot in the background as well. Oh, there's 2 6-shots in the background for some reason. And then also in the background, there is a Hasbro Shattered Glass Jetfire. Clearly, this is just somebody's like collection desk, because I think this is I think on the right-hand side, this is a Lightspeed from... Oh, fuck, who was it? Is it Fans Toys? It's somebody. I recognize this design, and I'm 90% sure it's a Lightspeed figure, but it's not Magic Square. But these Magic Square figures, colored up, obviously look shockingly more interesting than the gray prototypes. You might be confused to hear that, but yeah, it's true. When you actually slapped a little bit of color on them, they look a little bit better. So they have Lightspeed, Nose Cone, and Twin something, the double plane one. That one. I'm sorry, I can't remember the names. I'm dying. I'm old. My memory's turning to shit. That's how it goes. They do look better. This seems to be the only new image of them, though. So fair enough. Next up, DNA Designs. DNA Designs has got the DK82 Beastlord upgrade kit. Oh, we've talked about that one. And then the Starscream upgrade kit, which we've talked about as well. Okay. We can skip that. Oh, there we go. There's a new one. And the last one they've got is the DK56T08OP TF upgrade kit. So this is the Armada Prime Jinrai-ish kit. So this, I'm guessing, follows a similar idea to their previous upgrade kit for the Legacy Animated Optimus Prime and Motormaster, sorry. Yes, it is. It's a similar idea, but it's to make him more into Super Jinrai mode. So, bigger booties. A sword that looks oddly enough like Grimlock's sword, G1 Grimlock's sword, to be honest. You have a new chest plate, which looks like Jinrai's chest plate. God Jinrai's chest plate, I should say. And then the design of the jetpack, the way it's being colored, again, looks like it's more in keeping with Super Jinrai. Same for the helmet design as well, to be honest. So, if you wanted to get another upgrade kit for your animated Legacy Optimus Prime figure, this is certainly an option to go with. I think if you've got one at this point, I don't think this would make you get a second. I don't think. It might do. Apparently, these parts are compatible with the vehicle mode as well. Obviously, the chest bar just stays where it is. So he looks like this weird amalgamation of God Bomber. If God Bomber was an Optimus Prime trailer, which he is, but he has the Optimus Prime G1 trailer behind him. It's okay. I'm not like super amazed by it, but it's okay. He's also got the Gurren Lagann shades over the mask for the Super Jinrai mode as well. So if you know Gurren Lagann, hopefully you'll know what I'm talking about there. It's fine. I don't think this would be a thing that I'd look at and be like, yes, this is a definite must. Especially if like I said, if I've already got the previous kit they've done, I don't think I'd want to double dip and get it again. Because again, these kits are not cheap. They're very expensive. New Age Toys, they got Wreck-Gar. So we've already talked about Wreck-Gar earlier in the show. If I knew these were going to be in the slideshow, I wouldn't have done them when I did. Never mind. Fans Hobby. They are doing the MB24C Trigger Man. So I'm guessing this is... Yes, this was the exclusive for TFcon. This was Falcon, if I remember his name, out of... this is out of Hydra's mold. I mean, they're working with what they can. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't quite work because it's not very Falcon-esque in design. They've got Falcon's colors, right? And the head design is reasonably Falcon-y, Falcon-esque. as it should be. Oh, they've actually got a lineup of all the figures together. That's a good idea. So they've also taken an image of the air combat team, or the Predator jets. So they've got the MB-08B Hellsman, which was their redo of their Overlord figure into Skyquake, which was kind of funny, especially since Overlord killed him. Spoilers in the comics. The MB-23B Marksman, excuse me, which was their Buster into Talon. The M24C Triggerman, which is the one we just mentioned. The M23C Hangman, which was, again, their Buster figure into Snare. And the M24B Wingman figure, which was their another Hydra use mold into Skydive, ? I think that's right. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's a bummer that there are just reuses of molds when all of the Predator jets were individuals and they all had a different, at least shell, at the very least shell for their transformation. You could argue that they transformed in two of them transformed in the same way and another two transformed in a similar way, but the shells of each mode was different enough that they looked distinct from each other. Obviously, for an exclusive, you're limited in what you can do. It's nice enough that the Predators have seen something done with them, because fuck me, nothing's ever done with them, to be honest, but I don't need to tell you that. If you've listened to my show long enough, you know that's the case. General Techno says, I do love this using Derek's God General design. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as well. XL Head says, no, now I need 2 animated Optimuses. No. Oh no. Well, hopefully, XL Hedge, hopefully, if you are in the market for one, maybe he's cheap now, or even cheaper. He should be, because he's been out for ages. And General Techno says, yep, gonna be hunting this down. It goes up online this week. Oh, could you not get it at the show? He's the last Predator I need for the whole set. There's also Stalker and Clench, of course. Ah, yes. But then, are they exclusives or not? I don't know. And then we have some more promo images of Triggerman and him combining together. That's fine. And then we have MB22B Blue Sky Flame, which is a recolor of their Jetfire mold into the Powerlinks version, which is as crap as the Powerlinks version of Jetfire was. Again, that's not fans' hobby's fault of how the paint scheme design was done. It's just a bad, in my eyes, it's just a bad design. It never looked good. It always looked kind of poop and naff. But that I mean, they've replicated it, so I don't blame him. I blame you, Hasbro, for your lack of vision. If you didn't know, they've just painted his legs kind of a navyish blue, and there's a navy blue stripe, and then his faceplate's navy. It's lame. It's lame. Shuttle mode, and then we see him combined together. So yeah, no shock there, to be honest. They've done all the Predators as TFcon exclusives over the past few years. Yeah, I know. I've mentioned this over the years as well. So next up is Fantastic Models. We've got the FM02COP, or COP, which is, unsurprisingly, Prowl. I don't know off the top of my head who Fantastic Models is. It doesn't give us a size scale of these guys either. If I was to be a snooty little bitch, I would presume cynically that these are Masterpiece scaled or Legends scaled, as is the way of things. Oh, my keyboard's getting wonky as it's double pressing. I mean, it's a decent looking Prowl, I suppose, but at this point we have a lot of decent looking Prowls. I'm guessing it has to be Masterpiece scale because he's got opening hands. And if this is a Masterpiece scale Prowl, compared to other ones, I don't think it really stands out, personally. But when you've got so many of them, what is going to stand out, I just look at this and go, yep, that's another one. The joints are quite big and exposed as well. Like all of the hip skirts, you can see the pins through them really easily. Again, maybe this will be nicer when he's all painted up and whatnot. But again, I just look at this and go, yeah, that's another one. He stood next to Sideswipe and Red Alert. and he looks quite nice next to them. I guess what you can say is these have quite a lithe robot design. Like, they're not overly chunky or fat. Like, even the thighs and legs are quite slim, which I guess you could say is maybe a bit unusual, because I think when I think of a Transformer, yeah, I guess generally I think of them being a bit bulkier, a bit thicker than what these ones are. So I guess that's the thing. This figure is also shown off in his other alternative versions, let's say, Smokescreen and Blue Streak. Each of them has a different head. That's nice. And the other two have different gun arrangements for the guns for the heads. So again, that's nice, at least that they're a little different. And it just shows those two figures as well. That's fine. And again, it doesn't stand out too much. Wish I could say more to them, but it's just like, you see these, you've seen a lot of them, you know? If you tell me in the future that they're like deluxe scale, I'd be like a bit more interested. I'd be like, oh, okay. That's something a little different. And then I'd give them credit for them having opening hands as well, you know? I'd be like, okay, that'd be neat enough, but fair enough. Next up, we have Fans Toys. We have the FT33B Elucid, if I said that right, which is Strafe. Design-wise, he's pretty on point. Excuse me. I didn't realize his feet were so big and pointy, though, but maybe that's just part of his design. Yeah, Strafe. That was the guy I couldn't remember the name of earlier. They show him in hand mode as well. The hands maybe a little on the thin side. No, maybe it's about right. Again, fairly posable hands. The fingers look like they splay and bend, and the thumbs around and does stuff. Okay. So maybe a negative of the figure, because I didn't see it before. Maybe a negative of a figure is it looks like the hand part is always attached, and that looks like it basically makes a big brown backpack on the back of the robot mode, and potentially on the butt of the jet mode as well. Unless I haven't seen an image where you can remove it. Oh no, you can remove it. It's fine. It's fine. It looks like they've just added in. You can have it added to the jet mode. I guess you don't have to. I'm gonna assume that's the same with the robot mode then as well. You can just give him this big backpack and have it hanging off of him, or you can have it just like you can get the hand and just put it in a box somewhere, I guess. They also show Pythagoras. Oh, that makes sense. Pythagoras, which is nose cone. And they show him do nose cone things. They look nice together. They've got kind of a metallic-y paint job on them as well, or at least a metallic-y plastic they've used to make them nice and shiny. The tank mode, also, the drill tank also has the big extra piece just kind of plopped on top, which looks a little bit awkward, but again, I'm going to assume it can be removed. The nose cone drill is chromed as well, which is interesting to see. And there's the leg mode. Looks like it has ankle tilts and everything like that you would expect. He comes with all of his guns that the original one did. Again, it feels like, yep, there's another masterpiece scaled Technobot, you know? Again, seen a one, you've seen them all. And now we have, you'd be surprised, even more masterpiece scaled combiners. Mastermind Creations PS32 Laborator. Labrador. Labor-ator. It's long haul. Labor-ator. So, long haul looks, again, proportionally very nice. This is from Ocular Max, Mastermind Creations. It's those guys. So it's going to be high quality. The dump truck dumpy bit also looks like you can tip it up as well, which is quite neat as a play feature. So you can put stuff in it. Unlike the current Studio Series one as well, his dump truck looks like he'll be able to hold some stuff in it, which is quite nice. They show him in his what do you want to call that? Abdomen mode. And then there's a big giant black block coming up the center of it, which I assume is the connection point, which the long haul is going to kind of wrap around, which would make sense. And yeah, but for long haul, it looks nice. Again, the robot mode looks good. Proportionally, he looks fairly nice as well. He will be expensive, but when you compare it to the price of a Studio Series 1, is this maybe worth it more? I don't know. It'll have more complexity to it, which is either a boon or a curse, depending on what you prefer. I'd prefer my Transformers to be a bit more fun and simple to play with than a session. But that's obviously not what collectors are going for. Collectors are going for accuracy, I suppose. Next up, there is the RMX-22 Solar, which is Laserbeak, which is not this one. Oh, sorry, this is the IF04 Alta Beta, which is Deadlock? It's Evil Drift. Whatever that one's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say we've seen this guy before. I'm pretty sure we have. Again, he still looks nice. I don't care too much for it. There's something about the chest design which I'm not down with 100%. And proportionally, it just looks like there's something a little bit off about it. It doesn't look bad. It's just like, to my eyes, I look at it and it goes, just something not quite right. And it might be because he's not in like a static pose. At least a static pose facing the camera. They've got a static pose of him facing away from the camera, but not looking at the camera, where they've got him in a more of a walking pose. But this next one is the Solar figure, which is, I guess, the figure that we kind of talked about at the beginning of the show. So it is just the Laserbeak figure, but what if he was orange? But he does come with a tiny microphone. I like that. That's nice to remember the roots. If I was going to throw a criticism, I'd say the engine block, the weapon block, is maybe a little small. Maybe should be a bit bigger. It should fill out a bit more of the back here. If you look here on Sundo, there's this big red molded line, I guess, for the cassette mode. I think these engine blocks should at least probably go, at the very least, up to the start point of the line, if not cover the line. They just feel a little on the small side, at least to me. So, seeing some images of him, cassette mode. Then there is the RMX-17 Ultio. That's right. Which is Rat Bat. Good, solid little Rat Bat. I love his little tiny bat feet. They're really nice, actually. But there's not much to say there. It's just a Rat Bat figure. Looks good. Looks solid. And then there's the R54 Optus Sekio, which is Super Jinrai. We've talked about a Super Jinrai earlier, at least on my upgrade kit. This is a reformatted, unpainted sample at the moment. Optus Sekio, for some reason. So, it's a stylized version of Super Jinrai, or God Jinrai. So don't expect, looking at this, that you'd go, yeah, G1, I see this. Or an exact replication of how he looks from Super God Master Force. He doesn't look like that. He's a bit more of a stylized version of himself. Again, I can't put my finger on exactly where the aesthetic's kind of dripping into, but his forearms look maybe a little bit too beefy. Like he's almost got, because of the size of them, it looks like he's got Popeye forearms. And that obviously is not like a compliment, I would say. They show that God Bomber can form his God trailer, but they don't show God Bomber in his robot mode. They only show him compared with the Optimus Prime, but I don't know which Optimus Prime this is. It is a Optimus Prime that they've done. Maybe it's is it the Optimus Prime Cop one? The IDW styled one? Maybe? I'm not sure. Either way, that's all, folks. That's it. That's the TFcon done and dusted. So there's a few bits in there which are quite nice. I think, is there anything that really stood out to me? I don't think so. I like the Wasbanator quite a lot. I thought that was really nice. And yeah, and apart from that, I'm mildly interested, I guess, in the DX9 mini Master Force stuff. Maybe the Star Saber, maybe. The rest of the stuff, not really in my ball house of things that I'd probably want to buy myself, I don't think. Again, quickly checking through. No, it seems fine. I don't think, like I say, for me personally, there's nothing here that screamed, yes, this looks amazing. I'd really like to get this. But as ever, from TFcon, it's nice to see just a nice slew of stuff to talk about. I was gonna check on Shozy, but I think we've covered enough third party stuff for today. I think at the very least. And I think that will do us for the show for this week, everybody. Because a snooze. Exile Hedge says, really, BBTS? Wow, $45 for animated Prime. Gross. Can you not get them cheaper on, like, Ebu? Ebu must have them cheaper. Surely. What about a local toy store? Well, they might have gotten rid of all the stock by now, because he has been out a while. I'm not sure, Exile Hedge. Yeah, BBTS clearly not the place to go for a deal if you wanted a deal. Right. Well, if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy, rotten flesh of a human being. We're on the Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, Twitch, iTunes, Libsyn, Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. Do you want me to talk about what I've been up to this week? I could do. I haven't been up to a huge amount. I've been getting more Lego stuff. Tell you what I have been doing. I have... if you want to donate to the show, there is a link in the YouTube link below. If you want to donate, you can do. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can do. I think that link still works. Well, hopefully it does. I mean, if you click on it, you'll find out whether or not it works. I decided to watch The Bad Batch because I hadn't seen past season 1. Season 1 didn't really do a lot for me, so I thought, I'll give season 2 a try. Season 2 felt... there was like 3 or 4 episodes, which I thought, these are good episodes. And I thought it was funny because all of them were involving Crosshairs. All of the really good episodes in season 2 were the Crosshairs episodes. I would say most of the best writing comes from his stuff. And the other like interesting writing comes from the stuff on Coruscant, at least in season 2, where they're doing the whole like trying to hush up what's happening to the clones and everything like that. The other episodes just feel like silly waste of time journey stuff, which kind of you look at your watching and you're like, okay, that's not bad. It's just there's nothing really here for me to get invested in. It's just nothingness. I'm on to season 3 of it now, and it feels like again there's more going on. It doesn't feel like we're wasting as much time as season 2 did. So that's good. I wouldn't say this is anything like a crazy well-written show or anything like, oh wow, this is nuts how good this is. But it feels okay. It's better than season 1, which I remember coming away with being like, I don't know about this. This feels better than that, at least. I also started watching Primal Season 3. Haven't finished it yet. But hey, Primal Season 1 and 2 were very good. Season 3 is very good as well. It's very interesting. The idea, I mean, I don't think it's spoiler at this point. I think it's interesting that in episode 1, they bring back the main character from the previous seasons who was dead. He is now a zombie. And a lot of the episodes are him, I guess, almost trying to recover himself as a living person because he doesn't know what's going on. He's clearly not got clear memories of what his life was like before he was dead. So it's got that kind of interesting aspect to it. Again, it's a no dialogue show. It's all visual storytelling. I think it's pretty interesting. It's probably one of the better shows out there. But it's obviously not a children's cartoon, quote unquote. But I think if you watch it, you'll get, and you've never seen it before, I think you'll get a lot out of it. I think you will do. And I'm also, I don't think I've finished it, but I was catching up on Smiling Friends because I hear that's pretty much finished now as well. And Smiling Friends was that's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with that show. It's very quick as well. It's like the episodes are 10 minutes, so you're in and out of like a season very quickly. It amuses me. It amuses me greatly. Anything else I've done that's of real significance? I got a Lego AT-ET, not the AT-AT from the main show, but the Clone Wars AT-AT one. It's the little 6-legged camel thing. I got that. That was fun to build. It's a really neat build. It's got lots of guns and stuff, and it comes with a decent amount of little clone troopers. I ain't no Lego expert, so I don't know the intricacies of what makes a good and bad Lego set, but I did have fun building it, and I don't think it was too much for the amount that was in there. There's like an extra little tiny spider droid, which wasn't that interesting, but it was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So I got that. That was neat. And I've also been looking at Star Wars Legion, the tabletop war game, because the prices on the starter sets are like really good, especially compared to Warhammer. Like your starting boxes in Warhammer 40,000 are anus. They are anus. And by that I mean for the starter boxes now, they're like UK money. So there'll be more in America. Because fuck you guys, basically, because you've got to pay shipping and whatnot from one country to another. For us here, a Warhammer box is like what, £101 straight from GW. It's really expensive, man. It's really expensive, and these Star Wars Legion sets are like 75 for like a similar amount of models, but a better variety of models. So what do I mean by that? So usually when you get a combat patrol, as they're called in Warhammer, I feel that there's stuff in there that you would not want or you wouldn't really care for in your army. Like when you ask like pro players or people that play lots of matches, and you go like, "Is this unit good?" They'll be like, "Yeah, it's fine, but you could do without it." You know, there's like one unit in there, your main unit, which you need loads of. So like the Cadian Shock Trooper, you get like 10 of them. However, in a real game of Warhammer, you need like 20 of them minimum or 30 of them, and then a command squad to go along with them to make it a fully functional working unit in the game. So a combat patrol box doesn't really service it that well. It seems like the Star Wars ones gives you a decent. Let me find you an image because the models look really good as well. I think, especially for a company that's not GW. There's my thing. Okay, let me grab you an image. I can just go to Amazon, can't I? Amazon. XL Head says Spear has come a long way ever since he showed up in Dexter's lab. That's true. That's true. That's true. I always forget he was in that show. Gendy had ideas even back then. Sexy ideas, let me tell you. Yum, 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 yum. It's a good show, very good. So let's have a look at the set that I care about, the Separatist box set, where you get 30 B1 battle droids. That seems like a good amount. You get 9 super battle droids. You get 2 droidicas, and you also get General Grievous. And I imagine all of these units are pretty useful in the let's see, Astra Militarum. In the Astra Militarum box set, what do you get? Is it even called the Astra Militarum box set? Let's go Combat Patrol. Yeah. Come on, mouse. Stop being a poo. Combat Patrol. Okay. I mean, you can pick this one. This one will do. This is on discount as well because no one's picking it up. It's basically £100, so it's a lot more. So in this, you get 10 Necron warriors, and they need to be in at least groups of 20, or again 30. You get 3 Sorpek destroyers, and 1 big reanimator unit and an overlord. To me, the Star Wars stuff is better in terms of what you get. I think there's a lot in here. There's maybe not a big unit like that, the 1 Scorpec destroyer thing. But the droidica, sorry, the Scorpec destroyers are similar to the droidicas, I would say, but there's no giant thing. To me, that seems pretty good. You can also get this from a discount site or discount places. So I've seen the Separatist thing go as cheap as like 65, which is pretty good. And then there's like the Empire stuff. If you want, that's a pretty decent Darth Vader mini as well. Something that's interesting about these minis versus the Warhammer minis is the size of the capes. So the cape on the Vader is what you would expect a miniature scaled Vader cape to be. It's thin, but it's not thin enough where it's probably going to snap. Where Warhammer capes are usually quite thick. They're usually a lot thicker than this. So that's quite interesting. At least to me, as a miniatures guy, that's quite interesting to see. So what does Vader get? Vader gets 22 stormtroopers, He gets 14 scout troopers and Darth Vader himself. So to me, this seems a little bit less interesting than the Separatist pack, if you were to ask me. What the Rebels get? The Rebels get 22 Rebel troopers, and then different varieties of troopers in there. There's some Twi'lek heads, there's some Admiral Akbar heads, there's some Cad Bane heads, and then human heads. You get 6 Wookiees, or Wookiees as they're called, and then 7 Rebel commandos. This seems better than the Imperial set, to be honest. And then you've got Luke Skywalker in his horrible yellow jacket from A New Hope, you know. I don't know. It seems pretty good. There is also a clone trooper one, but I'm guessing that's probably sold out, to be honest. And then there's loads of other figures as well. But I don't know. I looked at this stuff and I'm still like umming and ahhing. I'm still umming and ahhing over this stuff because I think this stuff looks pretty neat. Pretty neat, if you ask me. But that's kind of all that I've been up to this week. Still watching DS9 again because why not? It's a great show. And if you can't watch anything good that's modern, why not go back to the old stuff? Why not do that? Why not do that, chat? Anyway, that'll do us for the show for this week. Thank you very much for coming on by. As I mentioned, all the places you can find me on the internet if you want to find me that way. That'd be cool. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube and all that jazz. ccbunker.weebly.com as well. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
You talk and you talk, but you have no gramba.
Yeah.
You are now leaving